What is good, YouTube? Today we reacted to Gen Z's addiction to locking in. All right, this gonna be a hefty video, but y'all gonna love it. All right, cue my music.
Broke money murder for higher society.
757.
Why would I do what I want?
Y'all like that shit? Hey, that's called Nevada by Infamous. Y'all check out my music, check out my shit. More music probably coming soon. Maybe not, but probably coming soon. I might throw y'all some gifts in there. But yeah, today we reacted to Gen Z's addiction to locking in, which I don't feel like it's really a bad thing. I feel like it's ultimately extremely productive, a good, positive thing. As men, as young people, we should be locked in. We shouldn't be sitting here focused on partying and drugs and alcohol and bitches. You feel me? We should be thinking about, our futures and trying to build a real legacy for ourselves even when we first start. So that by the time we are 30, 40, we're 10 years into some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're going to see what this talk about.
This year is my year. I'm gonna delete Instagram and focus on my goals. And
Word? TikTok.
what's that? This year is
Not
my
happening.
year. I'm gonna delete TikTok. Wake up at 6 a.m., start a dropshipping store, do some push-ups,
Dropshipping
and
store.
finally get my shit together. This year is my year. I
It's
swear
not
I'm
doing
gonna
that
delete
shit.
TikTok. Wake up at 5 o'clock every single morning. Meditate, journal, manifest my
Bro, this sounds like me. See, here's the whole thing, bro. I be having periods where I really lock in and I be good as fuck at all that shit. Something always shows up. Usually it's the weekend. By the time the weekend come in, I can't lock in for shit after. Like, all my positive habits have been broke by the weekend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I be struggling to get on track of shit from Monday to like Wednesday or Thursday. When Wednesday, Thursday come in, I be like, I'm locked in. You know what I'm saying? I'm waking up at 4 o'clock, journaling, exercising. First thing in the morning, I'm cracking out whatever I need to work on. Then that Friday night hit. Yeah, bro. Fuck all that. My sleep schedule is fucked.
dreams, dump everything into an NFT, get rich in crypto, and then I'm gonna find. Okay,
Whoa.
this year is my year. Waking up at 4 a.m.
Come on
going
now.
on a dopamine detox. I read Atomic
Dopamine detox is so real. Time and habits
Habits,
is real
taking
too.
cold showers, listen to a few Huberman podcasts, so now I know I'm ready for it. This year is 3 a.m. up,
Oh, okay.
5 side hustles, red light sauna. I still
Okay.
gotta delete TikTok. This is my winter arc. This year, I swear I'm actually locked. This year,
But it's funny because, like, he actually is speaking of, like, every trend from each year.
wake up at midnight, straight into an icy lake, starting my personal brand, 10-mile run backwards, push-pull legs Arnold split, deleting my entire phone, no friends, no distractions, 4 years of monk mode. I will locking in. A term that
Right.
mainly Gen Z has been making popular recently, which can be summed up as just getting serious, to lock your attention onto a single thing. And I think it
said, you should be locked
can be
in.
less serious stuff, like playing a video game or trying not to laugh at something serious. But I want to lock in, focus, get it, never mind. On the more serious side, that when someone says they're going to lock in, it means to really get your shit together and focus on whatever thing you want to achieve, which is typically a big goal that we have for ourselves. Usually referring to things like going to the gym or studying or something related to money, whatever. And on its own, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this at all. Locking in is necessary for doing anything worthwhile. But the problem with locking in is that it's only useful if you actually do it.
Do it.
But barely anyone does.
Facts. A lot of people be talking and don't do. A lot of people. I think the real magic. My bad, y'all. I was a little loud. I think the real magic from my experience is like to do it and not say shit. Don't say nothing to the world. Don't make no posts. Don't even tell your homies. Don't even tell your mama. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of the things I'm dealing with right now. I'm trying to lock back in, get more serious with life, get more serious with what my goals are. I'm in a weird point where I locked in and I got somewhere and started to succeed. And now it's kind of like, okay, what's my next path? Because I'm not about to be doing this shit much longer. I need something that I enjoy, something that's more meaningful. You know, as a man, you evolve, and I ain't gonna say as just a man, as a woman as well, but as a man, you evolve and you like, okay, this what I was doing last year ain't really what I'm doing now. Like my my head is different, my brain is different, I'm physically different. I don't like the same shit. I'm a new nigga. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of shit we on now. But yeah, I need to lock back in.
We've all had that 2 a.m. motivation when we wake up and just start pacing in our rooms. When we saw a video of someone our age making $150,000 a month and they buy their parents a new house with a Rolls Royce. So we start planning on becoming a millionaire in 6 months. We start researching and watching videos. Maybe go do a couple of push-ups and squats. We delete TikTok and Instagram from our phones. Maybe even pull out a journal and write down some plans about something. And we swear we're going to go to the gym tomorrow. And then we go to bed, wake up,
and don't
do
do it.
TikTok the next day, and just repeat the cycle over and over and over again. And you know, like it's
one thing I learned though, when bad things happen in life, that's when you lock in. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a breakup or, well, I know me personally, if it's a breakup, nigga, I'm good. I completely lock in. Or if it's like I break something, like my car gets fucked up, I lock in. Like whenever something wrong happens, I lock in.
It's kind of funny because we all kind of been through it.
But if nothing negative is happening, I tend to get lazy. That's what I've learned.
But in all seriousness, it's insanity. It's demoralizing. It's
another thing. I know this is like little, like I'm rambling here, but when I had harder jobs, it was easier for me to lock in. Now it's like my job I got now is so easy that I'll just get lazy, bro. Like I don't really be feeling like putting in no extra work. When I had jobs where I was building furniture or managing the gym or, you know what I'm saying, running around trying to pick orders and shit, like when I had the hard jobs, I was extremely locked in the entire time.
It gets beyond frustrating when time keeps passing, but for some reason, we're not where we want to be in our lives. When we're not even on the path. When you haven't locked in like you swore you were going to do.
That horse
and now it's 2025, and you're in the same spot you have been for over half a decade. When it's your literal...
Exactly, bro. And I think my whole thing, bros, I've been locked in, and I've been locking in for so long too. But it's like I struggle to stay consistent with certain shit. Like at one point, I was extremely consistent with music, but then I stopped really like enjoying the process of music or where music was at the time. I still love music. Don't get it fucked up, but it's not the same. It doesn't push the same push that it used to push. Like it don't scratch the same itch. You know what I'm saying? Especially when life kick in and you got to pay bills or pay for this or that and the third. It's like, bro, yeah, you love this, but you can't make money doing that like you know what I'm saying, like you wanted to. So shit's different, bro.
40th attempt saying you're gonna do something and you don't even believe or trust yourself anymore. Like it's not even sadness or anger, it's just numbness. But why exactly does that happen? Like why is it so difficult to do the things?
That's really depression right there, bro. Like when you look back, you say, damn, I should have did this. That's depression.
That's what we want to do. Yet it's so easy to do the things that we know won't help us long term. And it's not even like we don't want these things or don't even know how to get them. Because if you have an internet connection, which you have to be for watching this video, you can easily figure out exactly how to get exactly what you want out of life. Hundreds of millions of people have that ability, but then why can't people do it? Why can't people focus? Why can't people stick with something longer than 75 days? Why will 90% of people live the same year over and over and over again? Why can't Gen Z seem to lock in? Well, first of all, it's not just Gen Z who can't lock in, but almost every human could lock in. Because focusing on long-term goals outside of survival inherently goes against human nature and the way our minds work. But more on that in a second. And second off, why exactly is locking in so important?
That's why it's important that you build you a system and just stick with it.
Because if you research different people who've done anything worthwhile in any domain, they all got there doing different things during different times. But the one common denominator between all of them is intense focus over a long period of time on one thing, which is definitionally, I don't know if that's an actual word. It's
so difficult for us to do that. Like it's the long term. Like with this, I was like, I want to do YouTube, but it has to be something that's so simple that I could do it every day for a long ass period of time, because I know that's where the real effort comes in. Of course, I'm going to put an effort. You know, I'm going to set up the lights. I'm going to try to get good at speaking, take classes if I have to, learn thumbnails, learn titles. I'm going to do the necessary effort to get good at this shit, but it has to be something where it's so simple. I watch videos every day anyway, so I might as well film myself doing it. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like it should be something that's so easy to do that it becomes easy to work in over a long period of time with no effort.
In. If you want to become world champion, you need to log in. If you want to revolutionize personal computers, you need to log in. If you want to lead the civil rights movement, you need to lock in. If you want to make legendary films, you need to lock in. Even if you don't want to change the world, but you just want to have a family, provide for them, be in shape, and live a simple life, you still need to lock in. Because we all have a certain amount of energy and time. And if we spread out this energy evenly amongst 1,000 different seeds, the most impressive thing.
I don't know. My problem, bro, I don't know what I really want to do, but I know I want to build an empire. I know what I want to get into. I want to build content. I want to get good with content. I want to get good with speaking. I want to turn this into an empire, but I also want to dabble my hand into AI, and I also want to dabble my hand into music as well. Like, there's so many things that I kind of want to do. I just don't know how to put it all together in a way that makes sense. But I know eventually, you know, the universe gonna give me that sign of what's really for me, you know. And I don't think I'm gonna quit anything for real, because there's no reason for me to quit these things that I love doing. But even music, I haven't quit music. Like, I still love music. I still listen to music. I still produce. I still make beats. I just don't put it out there. But yeah,
you'll ever grow is 1,000 blades of grass. But if you're actually able to put your energy onto one thing, sure, you might not have 1,000 blades of grass, but the one thing you will have is an oak tree. And this idea of locking in is so ingrained in us that it's been seen throughout several stories and myths throughout history. Like, for example, the Buddha. He left his life of luxury and comfort so he could sit under a tree and fully focus on finding enlightenment. And monks are basically the definition of being locked in. They remove all distractions and everything that brings temporary, mindless pleasures so they can focus on finding peace. This is also why we have the term monk mode, which is just another version of locking in. Even a lot of philosophers talk about removing distractions and focusing on what's actually important in their lives, and how chasing temporary, mindless pleasures gets you nowhere long term. Because even eons ago, they understood that having your energy spread all over the place doesn't get you anywhere and leads to an empty life. And also, in almost every single story with a hero's journey, they have to lock in and focus relentlessly on changing into a better person or overcoming a huge obstacle. Even in a lot of shows or movies or entertainment, if you think about it, a lot of the time, a lot of people's favorite or most memorable parts is when the character gets serious, when their eyes change, and you can tell that they don't care about anything.
It becomes inspiring, and you start seeing like, oh, like that's gonna be me, because we all hope to be that person one
else
day.
Other than the goal, especially in sports, when athletes in the zone or they have tunnel vision and they just. Even if you look at different biographies of people in the not too distant past, or motivational speakers, or people who are alive today, they all mention the focus, the grind, the locking in, how they went through periods of relentless focus and they removed distractions so they could really get shit done. And how even during those moments, even though they weren't all sunshine and rainbows, they look back at those moments in admiration because it molded them into becoming a better human being. And I think locking in is something that we all subconsciously strive towards, because we all know that it's the closest answer we have to the big question, how to be happy. Because if you've ever actually been locked in, or you've gotten into a flow state, or just have gotten lost in the progression of an activity,
peace.
you know that
I live by this, bro. Peace is happiness, bro. Peace is happiness. And the flow state is peace.
it's one
So it's literally you being happy to work
of the best feelings that you
and
can
be productive.
experience. Not buying something, not doom scrolling, not giving into instant gratification and pleasures, but the climb itself towards a worthy goal that we decide on, even if it's hard and challenges us. Basically, locking in isn't even a new concept. But if we all know it's
been going on forever.
not just important,
They
but
had
necessary.
to. Bro,
And
did you
spend
see the things they've been doing in the past? Like the stuff that they did in ancient times, bro. You know how locked in you had to be to do that. But there's no way in hell they could have built the pyramids if TikTok existed, bro. If the booty clappers existed, bro. If X existed, if P-Hub existed, there's no way in hell the pyramids would have got built. I'm telling you that right now.
around for eons. And today we have more tools and information to mold ourselves into whoever we want to become. Then why doesn't it work?
Because we're distracted.
Like, obviously it does work. Folks will never hurt you. But then why do 95% of people never actually get the...
I'm gonna be honest, I love monk mode. I believe in monk mode. Monk mode is so real. Every time I've dug into monk mode, I got something amazing out of it. And it's crazy because every time I've done it, it's always been over a short period of time. Like it'll only be like a month and a half at most. Like I can never go the full 90 days monk mode. You know what I'm saying? Or the full year monk mode. But when it comes to like, well, unless during COVID, I did kind of get focused during COVID. But I didn't have nothing to focus on during COVID. I was doing a lot of things, but the day I really lock in and really focus, bro, it's over with. Like with this YouTube shit, I lock in on YouTube. I know it's gonna come to something eventually. You know what I'm saying? Only thing is, I could be locked in for 90 days, and it still might take me a year to hit that 1K. So it's gonna be like, damn. But who knows,
results
man?
they want to. Why can't we lock in? Okay, well, there's 4 big reasons why locking in doesn't work for most people. For one, most people have no why. Most people don't even start with a reason, the purpose
That's
of
facts.
why they're deciding to lock in. They say they want to change, but don't even know why. Like, why go to the gym? Why start a business? Why study? Why make money?
Right.
Why wake up at 4 a.m.? Those things are not bad to do at all.
Shit. Eventually, bro, me locking in with this YouTube shit, I'm gonna be making real long term and probably short form content as well. But I'll make real long form content, real thoughtful things, maybe some essays. Who knows?
But if you don't have a damn good reason on why you're doing them, you will not do them by yourself long term. Because
facts.
we all have this thing called a brain, and your brain is going to control your automatic baseline behaviors. And your brain is brilliant, but it's also lazy. Not because it's trying to be lazy, it's just because it's trying to be efficient. And your brain doesn't care about anything except surviving long enough to reproduce. Everything else it will put in as little effort as possible. And your brain will always automatically focus on 2 things: needs and wants.
Like your
Needs are
brain thinking, how can I survive? It's not thinking, how can I like strive for the next millennia? You know what I'm saying?
for things like breathing, food, water, shelter, safety, like stuff like that. Your brain will literally fight to the death to meet these things. Like literally, it will put your life
The hell was that?
at
I
risk
don't know.
and put you in danger until those needs are covered. This is why I usually see people doing extreme things during life or death situations.
Right.
Because your brain is no longer
That's what I
messing.
said, bro. It's always when like life turns into hell that you just automatically. I know me. I automatically just know how to lock in whenever shit goes south. We in on it, bro. I'm gonna do everything I can. I'm gonna get this money by the end of the week, bro. Like y'all ever heard the story of Lil Baby where they were talking about how Lil Baby got out of jail and he was like 10 bands up off rip a couple days after being in jail? It's like that for me, bro. Like I'll be back. I'll leave. I'm gonna come back with some money, something. We gonna figure it out.
Around. This thing needs to get done. And then there are wants. Things that don't need to happen, but your brain still wants them. I like to think about these
Right.
things as pleasures, dopamine, and comfort. But because it's efficient, it's always going to go towards the lowest hanging wants first. Pleasures that are the easiest and fastest to get. So unless you actively try to fight it via awareness or willpower or discipline, whatever, your brain is just going to do whatever it can to keep you alive and then chase short-term pleasures until you die. Just try it for a day. Just let your brain make all the automatic decisions. You're probably going to do nothing the
Straight
entire day
impulse.
is to just sit there and survive.
Most niggas, bro, most people in the world, that's how they operate anyway. Like they don't have no control over themselves or what their brain doing.
And just give into instant gratification activities and just be lazy. Anyways, the reason it's so hard to focus on boring things, especially long term, is because our brain is fighting us the entire time because it doesn't understand why we're trying to force it to do something it doesn't need to do because it doesn't care about your goals. The things we want to achieve are not needs. And if it's not a need, your brain will default to going towards easier wants. Like you don't need to get in shape. You want to. You don't need to start a business. You want to.
Right.
You don't need to do a lot of things because the world can handle all that for you. And the stuff you want out of life will make you feel good eventually.
That's a fact.
But the path to getting there is long and boring, uncomfortable, and risky. And your brain hates those things, especially when it can feel good instantly all the time. So unless it's truly important to you and your brain, you will inevitably fold. Think back to whenever you're working on anything. Automatically, probably several times, your brain will ask you, why? And if you don't have a good answer to that question, your brain will just slowly turn off. But then imagine those times whenever you had a good why for something. It feels like you have almost this unlimited restless energy.
Exactly, bro. Whenever there's a real purpose, shit, you gonna get to
Like, have you
it.
ever had a day in which you had something huge planned for the next day and you were able to wake up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning with almost zero effort? Almost like your brain automatically woke you up. It's because you were actually excited to get up because you had a strong reason why to get up. Versus the days whenever you hype yourself up with some empty promises, you don't plan anything, you don't have a why, you just saw someone else doing it, and now that 5 o'clock alarm goes off, and there's gonna be a 90% chance you're gonna hit snooze and go right back to bed. And it is kind of
Right to
corny, but
bed.
it's that quote where it's like, any why can be any how. Because if you have a strong enough why, you will do it. And the reason why it can be good or bad. If someone put a gun to your head is one of those things we've heard our entire lives. And it shows us that we will do crazy shit we don't want to do if you have a good reason behind it, even if it's negative. Same with if someone gave you $1 billion, shows the crazy shit we will do trying to chase a huge reward. But most people usually have neither of those. They're just floating around in the middle. They don't have a pain they're running from or a huge reward to chase. So a big reason people can't lock in or focus on something long term is because they don't even have a good, strong reason why behind it. Like, it needs to be something bigger than, I want to get rich or I want a six pack. But like, why? And why that? If someone says they want a six pack, but don't really have a good reason why.
And then when you do that and you really sit there and say, why do I want this? A lot of times you realize you don't really want what you thought you wanted. You know what I'm saying? You want something else. Like, you want that six pack because you want females. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things come to females. When it comes to guys, bro, guys just want girls. And if guys don't ever have if guys never have a period in life where they're getting girls, bro, that ultimately becomes their reason for life. I mean, it's a natural thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a natural thing.
Then there's a 90% chance they just won't.
Like he said, that was necessary for survival at one point.
Do it. But then if someone says they want a six pack because they were bullied their entire lives and they want to prove to themselves that they can do it, that's a much stronger why they'll push them to do things that they don't want to do.
But a lot of people want to prove to other people and not themselves,
even when they don't want to do it. For most people, the goal disappears for themselves as soon as they put their phone in their hand. It's not something that's so important to them that it bothers them not going towards it. Something so important to them that doing anything outside of the progression of that goal seems like a waste of time. Something that would be the last thing on their mind whenever they go to sleep and the first thing on their mind whenever they wake up. If you can find that thing and focus on it, then locking in becomes almost automatic, because then you simply do whatever it takes to achieve that goal. But most people never have a bigger reason other than, voice on the internet told me to take cold showers, and then are surprised whenever they can't keep it up. 2, most people have extremely short-term thinking and low attention spans.
Bro, it's crazy. People look at me crazy when I say this, bro, but you have to really train that. Like, it's extremely important that you train your attention span, bro. Meditate. You have to meditate. You got to journal. You got to do everything you can to make sure that your attention span isn't, like, cooked. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie, that's one of the hard things with these videos, because I feel like I have to have a short attention span just to make this shit speedy, choppy, entertaining. But because, like, naturally I just want to sit back and just analyze these videos and talk about it in depth. But, you know, I gotta make it somewhat entertaining or somewhat more of a new video from the original video. I can't just sit there, watch the entire video and not say nothing the whole time. See what I'm saying?
Most people see locking in as a quick sprint, not even a 100-meter sprint. More like a 40-yard or a 20-yard dash, when it's actually an ultra marathon that never really truly ends. If you are trying to reach a goal that takes years, a few weeks of effort isn't going to do anything, no matter how much effort you put in. Most of the goals we have for ourselves are pretty big, highly variable, and don't have a clear path. And it's probably going to take hours and days and months, maybe even years of trying before any results begin to show.
Right.
You have to front load so
Right. That's why you gotta make it something that you actually love doing, or it's something that you love doing, and it's also, it doesn't take away at all of your energy to do it.
much effort before you'll be rewarded on any of that
Energy is
effort.
everything.
And the modern world has trained us at every step to expect everything to be instant and comfortable. And this, combined with our highly efficient, lazy-ass brains, make being instantly, comfortably numb addicting. I've already talked about it a lot in this video, but social media, especially short-form content, has fucked our attention spans to the point that focusing on long-term projects becomes damn near impossible.
Impossible.
Like, we've been taught that if the reward doesn't come in 10 seconds or less, we can just swipe and find something else that will satisfy us, even outside the screen. The world is full of comfort and convenience, and basically anything you need for survival can be yours faster than any point in the history of ever, and just continues to get even faster and faster. And this is fine when it comes to general comfort and quality of life, but it does skew our perception.
It's
of
all
other
about
things.
comfort.
And this is very, very noticeable whenever we remove all of our phones and distractions.
Like, for
and try to
example, this video could have been made in like 5 minutes, but he made it in 30. This is, you know what I'm saying, challenging my, like, mental, you know, awareness.
Focus on something
is hard.
that takes longer
It's not easy to sit here,
10
but
minutes. Because
you
like,
know,
you can't put the
it's a
grind
good video
in
It's
2x
good
speed.
content.
There is no skip button. There is no real life montage when it fast forwards a month in 3 seconds. If things get boring and hard, which they will, you can't just swipe to a better moment. And since most people expect to become a millionaire in 2 weeks by opening a dropshipping store and reading 25 pages of Atomic Habits, like it's no wonder why a lot of people fail because they didn't do the right things long enough. I remember
if you just
whenever
read a book and you just kill it, it's like, what you start the book for if you was gonna kill it?
I was 12 or 13 years old.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I've been wanting to, like, I wanted to get into drop shipping, but then I heard that like big drop shippers will like target your page. Like if they're in your niche and they see that you're doing successful, they'll like try to knock your page out or get you deactivated in order for them to take over that niche. That's what I heard.
I wanted to get abs. So I did some research on YouTube and I found one of those 6-minute ab workout videos. And I did what it said, but I got really mad at the very end because it said I had to repeat everything I just did 4 times. And I thought I got scammed. But I didn't realize until I got older that it's repetition over time that builds
repetition over time that builds results. I should put that in the description of the channel.
Like the video wasn't lying. Like
that's
if
what
I would have done
on,
what the video said, I would have gotten abs.
Eventually I'm gonna be up there. You hear me? Up there. I'm gonna be up there. And everybody gonna be like, oh, ain't you that guy from the shit that be ratting this shit? And I'll be like, hell nah.
It wouldn't just take one set, but maybe like 600 total sets over the course of months before I started to see a really huge difference. But I didn't know at the time that if you just do the simple things, the things we try to avoid over a long period of time, that's what builds results.
Part of me, bro, that's kind of why I felt the need to really get this shit pushing again, because like when we first started doing reactions, I started doing reactions back in 2020. So it's like, why did I stop? You know, imagine if I would have kept doing reaction videos from 2020 all the way to now, and how much I would have improved, and how much the quality would have changed, and life would have changed, and how much money I could have made, and how much I could have learned on the way. Like all the stuff I'm learning now about YouTube and reaction videos and laws and all of that, bro, I could have been learned probably 4 years ago, you know? So
anyways, we are in a constant search for a shortcut, the easy way out. But today, since we have so much access to the internet and information, we can stay constantly trapped looking for the next shortcut instead of just doing the things we know we need to do. We will waste more time looking for that shortcut rather than just doing the actions we know we should be doing. But that doesn't sound cool. That's why whenever you hear about it, whenever you hear about someone locking in, it's usually for like 75 days or for 6 months. Right. But if you really think about that, like it doesn't like 6 years. It doesn't exist. Like, yes, time exists, but 6 months doesn't really mean anything because now is the only moment that you exist, and it just comes down to what you're actually doing now in this moment. Because what happens
after, it has to be natural. It has to be a natural thing.
If you can actually pull through the actions, like, does it stop? Are you finally done? There is no point in which you're going to reach the point in which is like, oh,
right. It just becomes a habit that you just keep going for the rest of your life.
You know, finally did it. Now I can chill and do nothing because the next day will always come. So in a real way, there really is no true finish line. This is usually why trying to do something unsustainable will never work. Whenever people say they're going to lock in, they're not trying to do something long term. It's just a quick burst. A quick burst might work for specific situations, like cramming for a test, or might help once or twice.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm a fucking child.
But those who make it don't do quick bursts. They just do. Sprinting won't get you to the end when the road wraps around the entire earth. Like, I'll use David Goggins as an example. He runs a lot, as we all know. But usually if you watch him run, especially in the middle of those like 100-mile long races, he is not sprinting. He's not hauling ass. He's keeping a pace that he can constantly maintain over the course of the entire race, which might only be around like 4 or 5 miles per hour, not a 15, 20 mile per hour sprint, because he knows that if he does do that quick burst that we all try to do, he will fail. Because if you know before you even lock in that you're not going to focus on it long term, you might as well not even start. Because it's easy to get hyped and do the right things for a day or two. But what about day 67, month 14? Like, is it something you can do until the end, until you actually reach your goal? It's better to put in 30% effort for a year than 110% effort for 2 weeks. 3, it's a performative mindset. Like most things, people like to declare shit before doing shit because it makes them feel like they did something. Like, it feels good to say, I'm locked in.
Right. It's good to go to courses and go to college before, actually doing something. Really, if you go straight into the real world field, though, you're Man, you done hit that degree so quick, bro. You done hit that shit in a month or two, bro, of actually doing the job.
Or,
like knowledge wise, like you'll have that knowledge that you had in college after a couple months, quick.
or to say that you're going to go ghost on your Instagram story. But doing all that doesn't mean anything happened in real life. It doesn't mean you're any closer to your goals. It can be a first step, but if it's not followed up by action, it doesn't matter. For most, locking in is just another feel-good statement. Most people care more about how others perceive them than their perception of themselves. And once again, this is a human brain thing. Like, we are social creatures and we care about what other people think about us, but sometimes we focus way too much on how we appear to be doing versus what we are actually doing. And whenever we tell the world that we're locked in and people celebrate us and hype us up, our brains make us feel like we did something, even though we didn't do anything. That's why it feels good to post stuff instead of actually doing stuff, to make plans and journaling instead of actually doing what you wrote down, to do the little weird habits like cold showers or meditation or reading some popular self-help book. Why it feels good to watch someone else be productive even though we haven't done anything. Just because you see someone else waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning doesn't mean you waking up at 11 a.m. is the same thing. It's so easy to trick yourself because you feel inspired. You feel like you've been
but that's important to actually locking in, is feeling inspired, you know?
The gym. You feel
it's hard to get up and go when you don't feel inspired.
Feel like you bought the Ferrari.
You know?
But if you zoomed out and you watch yourself in third person, all you did was sit there and just consume content for an hour. Now, a little asterisk. I think content like this is fine to consume if you're taking
But me, I'm sitting here trying to build something by consuming content.
Action alongside it. And it's just helping you keep the fire hot. If you're going to be on social media for hours every single day or listening to podcasts, whatever, it is better to be consuming a bunch of self-improvement stuff rather than brain rot. But for most people, they're not even using it as a supplement. They're tricking their
this channel gonna have a lot of brain rot, though. I'm not kidding.
Mind into thinking that alone is actual progress. It's all performative. Like, people say cool things like, I want to become a millionaire, but they don't even pick up a book. Don't even make a plan. Right. Don't even learn what money actually is. They don't change anything. They don't try. They keep swiping on TikTok. And they think the best way to make money is to start a clothing brand with $50 or YouTube automation with faceless AI slop. They have no plan, no goal, no knowledge, no long-term strategy, just a temporary emotion that will fade just as quickly as it can. And then most of the time, the trigger for someone locking in is watching a David Goggins TikTok yelling at them, calling them a bitch. And that might keep you going for a few hours, but it fades very fast when things get actually hard. If the cue for you locking in comes from something else other than yourself, you will fail. If you need someone to tell you to lock in, then you're not actually locked in. And most people don't know how to actually work on something outside of the things they're told to do. Most people will put more time and effort into pleasing someone else rather than focusing on the goals they have for themselves. For example, if someone was told to be up earlier at their job at 6 a.m. instead of 8 a.m., they would be there at 6 a.m. But then if they made the same promise to themselves that they'll be at the gym at 6 a.m., they would sleep in and miss it for the third week in a row. Basically, a lot of motivational lock-in stuff is usually advertised as fun, high energy, feel good, hoorah. But if you've actually done something on your own, you've realized it's the opposite. It's boring. It's hard, which is why it's difficult to stick with it, especially when you're surrounded by so many other pleasures and distractions. And if the only fuel you have is motivational TikToks or Instagram Reels, you will fail. And 4, most people have unrealistic expectations. Let's say you're locked in for 6 months. People expect those 6 months to be perfect and smooth. They think that the second they say the words out loud, I'm locked in, the universe will change and it'll be a perfect road. That one day they're just gonna start and it's gonna be this magical ride, and then get blindsided when they run into a problem 5 minutes later. People want fast, easy results. So when someone works on something for a month and sees nothing, they give up. If you ever work on a project alone, whenever no one else told you to do it, and you actually did it and stuck with it until the very end, you realize that it took much more time than you thought it would in the very beginning, and it took more energy than you originally expected it to. 99% of your time was spent in quiet frustration and self-doubt, and there were at least 100 little roadblocks that could have stopped you at any point. It's difficult. It's hard. It actually challenges you. You're taking on a task that literally nobody is telling you to do, and you don't even have to do it. And when you reach the end, you realize why so many people never do anything long-term. Because there's a massive difference between acting like you are something versus actually doing it.
It's tricky, man. Hey, because you acting like you're doing something. I mean, it plays a lot for your subconscious and your brain and on the spiritual side, but you want to do both. You want to Action is more important than anything. There's people that don't really give a fuck, but they take into action. Just the fact they take the action, they get somewhere. You know, people that don't give. Playboy Cardi not sitting here trying to be a musical genius, bro. He goes to the studio and takes action, and it works. That's all it is.
The hype and the theories of how to be productive versus actually throwing all of yourself into a task and getting lost in it. You start to understand that there is no secret. The only thing you can do is do. It's not a Rocky movie when you do 5 push-ups and the whole crowd is cheering for you. It's usually dark and quiet and boring, and it's usually very lonely and unmotivating as hell. You're going to constantly feel like you're behind, doubting yourself every step of the way, wondering if what you're doing is even worth it and if you should stop. Your brain is going to fuck with you more than the actual task itself. And sure, there are things that you can do to help, but you can't avoid doing the boring part.
Yeah. The thing is, bro, like, you're gonna have hard days, but the trick is to make sure there's way more good days than hard days. That's why them little, like, sleep right, drink water, eat right, those type of things are important, because you don't want it to be a bunch of hard days keeping you from your goals. Maybe 1 or 2 every once in a while, but not every day.
What we should be doing, that we try our best to avoid. They also think that during that period, it's going to be this constant up, and every day is going to be 100%. When in reality, half the days are going to be below average. If you focused for a full year, that means 6 of those months are going to be below average. Exactly. And most of that time, average doesn't even feel good. Some days are going to be missed. Most days you aren't going to do everything you set out to do. And maybe 3 of those days are going to go absolutely perfectly when all the stars align. But most people give up after 5 days because it gets hard and it doesn't meet the expectation.
That's why successful people have systems, bro. Like, think of a basketball player, like, they have a system that's set. They wake up. Their alarm go off. They have to go to work. They're not treating basketball like a sport, like a hobby, like none of that. It's a job. That's why they're so good at what they do, because they treat it like a job. You know what I'm saying? If they don't come to work, they get in trouble with their boss. It's a job. Accountability.
That the world gave us. So yeah, when you combine all these things, you understand why locking in over a long period of time is so hard for most people, and why it's never really easy. We are biologically hardwired to chase comfort and avoid pain. The big goals we have for ourselves are wants, not needs. And most people don't even know what they truly want and copy other people's 4 a.m. morning routine without creating their own that fits their own goals. They think results are going to happen tomorrow and care about the image of progress.
I do think it's important to model after people who are successful, but there's nothing wrong with taking what they have and remixing it into your own thing.
Versus making actual progress. So when the time finally comes to sit down and do the work we know we should be doing, we stop. So if locking in can work, but it doesn't for most people, then how do you actually make it work? Well, first, step 0 is that you need to have a why, a good why, a great why, but not just a single why, but purpose. I would argue why cubed, why to the why to the why. Just think about almost any movie or story or anyone in real life. Whenever the character has the moment in which they obsess over a goal and they lock in. Why does that happen? It's because they found their why. Something clicks in their mind, and that purpose, good or bad, is something that becomes a need. And it's usually something bigger than themselves, something more than some small, vague, superficial reason, like, I want to get strong, but rather something like, I need to protect the village from the evil that's going to come in 5 years or something like that. I don't know. And then once they find that strong reason why, stopping them becomes almost impossible, because they will put literally all their efforts into it. Or sometimes they won't stop until they're literally dead. Now, in the real world, it doesn't mean you need to save the universe from destruction or anything crazy like that. They need to have your motivation so dark and so important that you sacrifice every little thing that ends up costing you more in the end. But the closer you can make your goal a need, the better. Or your brain's going to fight you every single step of the way. Because, okay, if you don't pick a goal that you need to do, if it's not something that's so important to you that you can't stop thinking about it, you simply won't do it. Because the world we live in today gives us so much instant comfort and pleasures and
so
distractions.
Much distraction.
And this ocean of instant gratification is going to easily drown out a meh reason for doing something. If you're going to do something over a long period of time, you need to have something else as fuel other than your motivational, happy, feel-good emotions. Because one day you feel great, and the next you're questioning the purpose in anything. And if you solely rely on them, then your progress is also going to be random. Just random bursts of motivation that get you nowhere long term. It's corny, but it's like the quote I said earlier, how any why can overcome any how. Or if you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe,
That's the GOAT. I ain't gonna lie, he the GOAT.
then you'll be successful. It sounds kind of corny, but it does have a lot of truth behind it. You constantly just
You gotta push yourself to be great.
do breathing, even though you're
You can't be easy on yourself. You gotta push yourself. Be mean to yourself.
not constantly thinking about breathing.
Because
And
you're
if you
gonna be
don't
happy
breathe
at
for
the
30
end of the day.
seconds, you will do anything to get air because it's a non-negotiable. Or almost any example, if someone said you had to do X, Y, or Z in 6 months, or you're homeless, or they were going to harm you and your family, you would make it work because there's a strong reason there. But like we said before, for most people, there aren't really any real consequences for not achieving your goal. But if you don't set up any consequences, either in real life or mentally, if you know that whether or not you achieve your goals, nothing's going to happen to you, it's basically never going to happen because you're going to default to comfort. Anyways, it has to be a strong why. Without that, nothing matters. Then once you have something that you actually care about, remove everything that is not the goal. Once you have a good why, your brain is still going to fuck with you. It's still going to want to go towards the easier ones, even if the one that you have is massive and will bring you fulfillment and pleasure. You have to remove the short-term instant gratification activities, either your phone or other distractions like TV, sports, video games, other people, etc. The things we know we shouldn't be doing.
It's really what it comes down to, bro. Y'all have to like really be mean to yourselves, bro. Tell yourselves what, like, hey, I'ma stop. I'ma lock in. I'ma focus. Nothing else in the world matters except what I'm doing right now.
Now, I'm not saying you got to go extreme and never, ever, ever do anything ever again. But the more you're...
But it's good to find ways to feel good from things that aren't a negative distraction. You know, it's good to find some type of dopamine hit in something like reading a book versus taking 10 shots of alcohol.
Move these things, the easier it will be for your brain to focus on the things you truly care about. Then once you have all that down, actually do it. Actually take the actions.
Do it.
Not talking about it, not watching
Just
videos,
do it.
not
Don't
posting
even
on
say
social media,
nothing.
trying to make it
Just
seem
do
like
it.
you're doing something,
Just
but
do
simply
it.
just
I ain't
do
posted
it.
this
The times
shit
whenever
once.
I've made the biggest
I
progress
ain't saying I'm just
in my
doing
life
it. This
or
channel, I'm
towards
gonna
my
just
goals
do it.
is when
I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna make it effortless. Like I'm just be spitting
whenever
shit
I
out.
said fuck how I feel and just do what I know I needed to do. Because there have been a lot of times when I have just listened to my brain all day, every day. And all it does is just stop you from doing the things you know you want to do by just giving you logical reasons for an action. And probably the most annoying thing about it is that
Logical reasons for an action, bro. That's the real
feeling of resistance, that self-doubt, the reason not to do something is literally always going to be there.
That's
And because
facts.
your brain is you, it literally knows the perfect thing to tell you to stop you from doing the things you know you want to do. It knows how to give you the perfect excuse every time. But because it's a constant and will always be there, if you listen to it, it just means you will never make any progress ever. You know exactly what you have to do, so just do it. It's simple, not easy, sure, but you are literally running out of time. Then the hard part is to just keep going. This is where almost everyone stops because it requires consistent, boring effort without getting rewarded for the long time in between. And there's no secret to this. You either do or you do not. Either you keep going or you stop. And once again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but
Bro, action is everything. Even action without thought. Action is everything.
even showing up 10% one day is infinitely better than doing nothing at all. I like to think about the Grand Canyon. To get that massive canyon, you need consistency. It took over 5 million years for it to be what it is now. And I would imagine some days a lot of progress was made, while there might have been probably years when nothing happened at all. But to get where it is now, it never truly stopped. It just kept going, even if it wasn't going full speed the whole time. And finally, this is what's helped me a lot personally. I think the last thing that you can do is expect the hard and embrace it. Of course, this is easier said than done. But a lot of the time, we don't do the things we need to do because we have the thought in the back of our minds that we're just going to have to experience discomfort and sacrifice the things we want to do over the things we want most. And it's just going to be all bad every single day. But a big reframe I've had in my mind is that instead of thinking that I get to experience discomfort every single day, I try to change it to I get to experience the greatest feeling ever every single day, which is achievement towards personal goals and overcoming resistance. So I try to have that glued to the front of my mind to keep going until I remember why I started. And also I think it's helpful to remember that literally no matter what you do, it's going to be uncomfortable.
It's gonna
Even
be
if you do nothing
at some point.
and you give into your instant
Like you
pleasures,
said,
you're going to
around
feel
half the
uncomfortable
time.
knowing that you're not achieving the true goals you have for
It's gonna be uncomfortable half the time.
yourself. And if discomfort is going to exist no matter what, then you might as well get something from it. Once you start making actual progress towards the goals that you set for yourself through the actions that you're taking and you're overcoming self-doubt and just pushing through resistance, it is by far one of the best feelings ever. But you have to go past that little dip before you see results. But once you get over that hill, it becomes so much easier. Like, it doesn't become easy, but easier. But at the end, you're going to be so damn proud of yourself and remember why you started to begin with. That's it. Bye.
That's fire. I mean, that's a very, very informative video by my guy over here. Yeah, man. I mean, what he's saying is real. I feel like that's all it comes down to when we're trying to lock in. We need to make sure that us as young people are at least try to lock in. Like he said, just show up. Like, if you're trying to get into the gym, you're trying to get nice at the gym, just show up to the gym. Like, pull up, lift the dumbbell, put it down, and go home. You gotta at least show up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's it for the video. Y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, binge the rest of the channel. Let me know if y'all want more of the self-development, self-help type of content. And yeah, let me know anything y'all want, bro. Let me know what y'all wanted me to react to. I'm taking all requests right now. I'm saying for a limited time, of course. It's not gonna happen forever, but for a good while, anything y'all want me to react to, I will react to. All of y'all. Infy is gone.